Well, and I always need to check the sound to make sure we're coming through. I think we should be good on TikTok, but let me know if you can hear me on TikTok. Um, as far as I know, the sound was working earlier, and we're just gonna check our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch sound as well. We are live. It says we're live. We're just gonna check our. We're good. All right. So Friday we do a stream in our store from 10:30 around 10:30 10:45 Pacific Standard Time. Um, I've got two cameras, so I'm trying to look at both the TikTok camera and our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch camera. All right. So we are just going to make sure I'm all set here. We usually share some updates with our store and talk about just some games we've been playing, stuff like that. A lot of general conversation about gaming, tabletop gaming, and then we cover one specific topic each week. So today we're talking about giving reviews. So I'm going to share my opinions on what I think about reviews for games and also how we as a store and content creator, how we kind of handle that. Kind of a spoiler, we don't do reviews. So I'll talk about what we do instead. So first, some updates for our store. Share this every week because we kind of have the same events running each week. We haven't really switched up what we're doing. But Thursday nights, last night we have our D&D night. So that is every Thursday from 6:30 to 9. We have two campaigns going right now. Pretty consistent players showing up to those campaigns. Um, we're looking for another DM. So if you're in the Los Angeles area, if you're checking out the stream, send me a message if you'd like to be a DM. We're looking for maybe one or two more DMs. Hey, Luke, thank you for joining on TikTok. And hey, Streven, that's how you say the username. Thank you for joining on TikTok. Um, so Thursdays, D&D. We also do our board game days on Saturdays. So that will be tomorrow from 2 to 6. We play different board games, very community focused. Bring a friend um, and bring a game to play and teach other people how to play the game or show up wanting to meet new people and learn new games. Sunday are Pokemon days. So we always have a class from 12 to 1. Um, our classes so far have been beginner classes, so how to learn how to play Pokemon. You sign up in pairs, and in that class, you also receive the Pokemon Battle Academy as well as some packs. And then one new update for our store: we are part of the Wizards Play Network now, so we'll be doing some Magic events here very soon. Um, keep looking outside because a lot of times we get deliveries at this time when I'm streaming. I keep hearing a truck, but I don't think it's for us. Hey, Pops for Days. Thank you for joining on TikTok. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. Is that Pops as in Funko Pops or is that Pops as in like dad? Uh M Wooden, thank you for joining on TikTok as well. So again, every Friday we talk about some games, some new games that came out. We share some updates in the store, and then we have a topic. Today, I'm gonna type this. We are talking about reviews. So I just want to share my opinion on some things related to board game reviews, like negative reviews, and then also share our perspective on how we handle reviews. And again, spoiler, we don't do reviews, but I'll talk about what we do. Um, all right, so I'm gonna share some new games we got in our store just yesterday. I think they came out within the week. We kind of ordered them and got them a couple days after the release. So hey, Storm the Cat, thank you for joining on TikTok. So the first one, this one looks really cool, and I really want to play it. I'm gonna have to try to see if I can get a demo copy for our store. Disney's Sorcerer Arena Epic Alliances. So, hey Tim, thank you for joining on TikTok. So this game, it does something that is a big debate in the board game space right now. I'll show you on the camera and on TikTok here. I think you can see it on both. You can see they're the minis. They're acrylic minis. They're not plastic. So it's acrylic with paint. I think that would be paint or like a vinyl. I don't think it's a sticker because it's like I remember seeing that them at Gamma. They're not. They're kind of already on the acrylic. Um, oh, cool! I didn't even notice gargoyles. I started watching this show again, maybe a couple months ago because this is on Disney Plus, and it reminded me of refreshed my memory from when I watched it as a younger kid. Saturday morning cartoons. But here you are creating a fantastical baddie ready roster of Disney and Pixar hero and villain characters to enter an action packed Sorcerer's Arena. Um, so you're creating your team. I know there's a lot of planned and or already released expansions and stuff for other characters. So really cool. I want to hopefully try this soon. Um, hey, Dragon Slayer, thank you for joining on TikTok. If you're watching, have you played, or you're watching the replay, have you played Disney's Sorcerer Arena? We got a chance to play that one yet. Another game we got in recently that's actually not very new, but it's up for the Spiel des Jahres, which is which is the best board game kind of in the world. It's a award in Germany. And DEC said, I like painting minis, but not everyone does. I like the color acrylic standees for a casual game. I think I agree with you. Painting minis I'm not very good at, and I wish I had more time to paint minis. We might do some mini painting here in the store. We're still kind of trying to figure out a permanent streaming setup. It's probably going to be on that side of our store, which is our play space area. I just need a better computer to run, a better laptop to run our streams from there. But when we do that, I'd love to paint some minis on our stream. And then the acrylics are nice. I agree, especially for casual play, because for casual play, they're already made for the players, right? You don't have to spend time painting them. And players who aren't used to maybe minis kind of can get used to the acrylic standees. I do know a lot of people love painting though. So DEC 712, you like painting? Do you get a chance to paint your minis and then actually play with them? So I know sometimes it's tough to like spend a bunch of time painting the minis and then maybe you don't get to play with them. But again, if you enjoy the painting, does it really matter either? So Cascadia, Spiel des Jahres, tile placement game. I have not played this one. I'd like to try it soon. You're in the Pacific Northwest. It's what is it? Select tile and token selection, and you're creating your ecosystem in the Pacific Northwest. That's another one we got in recently. It's been out. I want to say 2019. It came out. I can't remember, but it's been out for a bit. Hey, loyalty over love. Thank you for joining on TikTok. All right. So have you played Cascadia? Anyone's played Cascadia? DC says, I'll play with them while they're still unpainted and just paint them as I have time. Yeah, that seems to be the maybe the best way to do it, to be able to make sure you're still getting to play the games, even if it's not painted. All my board games are unpainted minis because I'm not a very good painter. So I feel like they probably look better unpainted for me. All right. And then the third game that we recently got in, we got a few more stuff in, but I just selected 3 for today. This one's kind of heavy. I put it on my shoulder. Wonderland's War. So this is an area control game. I believe variable player powers. It's a bag building area control game. So you're creating your bag of looks like tokens, and you're selecting them out of the bag to use as resources in the game and or maybe combat. I want to play this one too. All 3 of these I want to play, but I have not had a chance to play yet. Maybe leave a comment if you'd like to share with us what game you've played recently too, if you're watching now or if you're watching the replay. games I've played recently, I haven't really been able to play much recently. I do host a DM as a DM Dungeons and Dragons here in the store, so I did DM yesterday. We're doing the Essentials kit from D&D, and they are all, well, 3 of the characters are level 2. Um, Usually we have a group of 7, but about 4 people were not able to make it yesterday, and I haven't decided if they should be allowed to level up or not. Maybe, just because they were with the group, but not actually their players weren't actually there, as the characters were in the game, but the players were not there. Alright, so those are some updates for our store, some recent games we got in, some games I've been playing. Share with us if you'd like some games you've played recently. And while you share, because there's a little bit of you call it lag on chat. I'm going to talk about reviews. So, where to start about reviews? So, I always choose these topics like kind of last minute. Um, I probably need to create a topic bank that I can choose from, because I always have a tough time trying to think of what to talk about or what topic to choose and have enough, I guess, points to share or thoughts to share about the topic. Reviews, you can share a lot talking about reviews. So, I know one video, Jason, uh, Shelf Stories is the name of his channel. I don't know his last name. Um, Perez, I was going to say, and it is correct. Perez. Jason Perez from Shelf Stories recently released a video on YouTube, and he talks about board game reviews. And that sparked a discussion and conversation across different groups on Facebook for sure. Probably on Twitter too. I don't know. I don't check Twitter as often as I do Facebook. Um, and there's probably some discussion in his comments too, but he talks about negative reviews. And there's kind of two schools of thought when it comes to negative reviews. And one is to do them, and one is to not do them. Um, I've seen people weigh in. Hey, T Molnar, thank you for joining us on TikTok. I've seen people weigh in on. So this is kind of a general consensus, not really one person's particular opinion, but I've seen people weigh in on never doing negative reviews because the there are 2 or 3 kind of reasons why. Let's say I got 2 for sure. There might be a third or fourth reason, but one reason is because they don't want to spend time with a game they don't enjoy. Um, so why spend time to create a review for a game you don't enjoy? Because reviewing a game takes a lot of time. You're not just playing the game once. You got to sit down with the rule book, play it once with 2 players. Maybe you sit down and play it solo and kind of go through the motions. Play with 3 players. So you spend a lot of time with that one game. So I've heard some people share that sentiment that they don't like to spend a lot of time with a game they don't enjoy. Also, when they decide they don't want to review a game, that's essentially them saying they this game's not for them. Um, because there are so many games out there, and one game I may not enjoy that others will enjoy, as using me as an example, but this is something that I've seen shared. Also, just creating more positive, um, what do I want to say, space out there for gaming and the tabletop gaming hobby by only putting positive content out there to expand the hobby reach in general, versus creating negative content. Because again, a game that is, for example, maybe you take a game that's fairly popular among family gamers. Let's say like a game of, you know, families gravitate towards this game versus a hobby game player. I would say like I like family games, but I probably gravitate more towards hobby games and I enjoy those more. But that's not to say this family game that I didn't enjoy has value and is enjoyed by a lot of other people. And to create a negative review from my perspective may turn off those players to that particular game. So again, that's another sentiment that's shared for not doing negative reviews. And then on the other side of it, doing negative reviews helps to create trust between you as a creator and the people who look to your content for uh, your opinion on what games to purchase. Because again, so this is one of one pretty prominent reviewer channel out there. I don't want to give the channel's name out because I don't want to share their sentiment incorrectly, but from how I've perceived them to share the sentiment is that when you it's really important where you decide to spend your money for someone who is purchasing games, right? Like spending $100 on a game or even $50 on some games is a lot of money for some people. So, um, being very conscious of telling people some negative aspects of certain games is important. Um, or having negative reviews is important because maybe that money is better well spent on another game. Um, I know some reviewers also is kind of the in between, I suppose, where they may take four positive things and four things that they maybe did not enjoy about the game or they would like to change about the game. So that's kind of what I've seen and how people do reviews. Now, for us, we do not do reviews. So we started our podcast, Board Gaming with Education. We started that podcast 4 years ago. And with that podcast, we would just share and present games that could be used as learning tools. So we were never choosing or picking games or sharing games on the podcast and talking about them in a sense of reviewing them for uh, either entertainment or education. So we always took games and shared how they may be used in a learning space. If we had guests on our show and they had their game that was going to be released, they shared their perspective on how they believe it could be used for learning as well. Um, we also make content for games on how to play games or again how they can be used for learning. We never really review them as in what our opinions are about the game. So that's us as a board game content creator when we first started out. And then we kind of got into this space where we overlapped as a content creator and a store. And to be able to review games as a store is very different. Um, Again, we don't do reviews. We share how or what we enjoy about games. And um, if we're not looking at games as games for learning, we're talking about how or what type of experience you can get for this game. Hey, Pork, thank you for joining. Hey, Bowser Retro Cafe, thank you for joining on TikTok. Um, Now, when we moved into this store and we kind of started becoming a store plus creating content, we were only an e-commerce store at the time. Now we are a brick and mortar store. Um, it's I guess I want to share perspective on creating content for games and then also perspective on suggesting games to people who come into our store. Um, so as a someone who would create content for a game, usually we talk with so I just said I play make games on how to play if the game is not good. I think that's one way to go about it too. As I mentioned before, maybe before you joined, we would create content on how to play games. Um, like very short form content is most of our how to play games. And then it was more an overview. I wouldn't say how to play, an overview of how to play or an overview of the game. And then at the end of it, you could see some of our early videos on TikTok. And then the end of it, we would share how this game could be used for learning. That was kind of the perspective we took. Um, Now, as a store, we have not gotten to the point of covering content in video form with games yet because we are now have been open for a month. We're transitioning it into releasing our video casts here soon. Um, and then hopefully we'll create a pocket of space for creating content on games. Now, all we really do is put a game on our demo table and we snap a video or some pictures of it and post it on Instagram. Um, but down the road, we'll hopefully get into a point of creating content for games, but a lot of it will be uh, like playthroughs or having guests on our show to talk about the game. I don't know if we'll make content like how to play or review. We definitely won't do reviews. I don't think I'll ever do reviews because I my other philosophy in reviews is no one is removed from biases, and so I know some people have a opinion that um, you can present things objectively, and I don't agree that is true at all. I don't think anything you do can be done objectively, and I believe that we are always selling something, um, whether you're in business or you're trying to present an idea to someone else or you're trying to decide what food to get. I think almost we're always unconsciously having some impact on how we try to influence other people. I plan on having we code in each game to a YouTube video teaching the game and reading the rules. Have a having a we code. Oh, maybe you said QR code. Maybe it's a typo. In each game to a YouTube video. Yeah, that's a good idea. Especially using maybe like a board game or board game lending library, we could put that in there. Um, when I learn games, I usually use the rule book, but we've also done where my wife and I will learn a game. The rule she'll watch the YouTube video for the rules and I'll read the rule book, and that helps to speed up the process a lot. Also helps us to check each other's understanding of the rules because sometimes we get some things wrong. Um, and then on the other end, so that's like content end of reviews. Again, we won't ever do reviews. We'll maybe make some preview content like we have now. We just shared some games. Maybe those will be more in depth and short form, 30, 60 seconds with the components out. Share those on TikTok. Um, Now, when it comes to suggesting games, so I am a store owner and I know like at least a bit about every single game we carry. I don't or have not played every single game we carry. So I have to rely on others' content for learning about games. And I watch a lot of content from other YouTubers to learn about different games. Um, so what we suggest is based on, or what I suggest personally is based on my experience with those games. So I can assess uh, customers' wants based on some questions, and then that way I can lead them to games I believe they would like based on the experience they're looking for. Um, so I do share some negative sentiments for some games every once in a while because I do look at the experience the customer is looking for, and I don't want to lead them down a path that I think is not the correct experience for them. So I will share some negative sentiments for some games. I'm never harsh, but I try to be subtle and tactful in moving the customer down a different path for deciding on a game because again, I know the experience or I kind of have a pretty good understanding of the experience they're looking for, so I'm trying to get them to make a purchase for something they will enjoy. That's a very key and very big decision to our philosophy as a store. We don't value the transaction over I guess maybe our community journey or customer journey. We want a customer to come into our store, find a really excellent game for them, take it home, play it, and then because they had such a great experience, they're going to come back. So we're never suggesting things that are a quick and easy sale versus something the customer we think will enjoy. Welcome back, Bowser Retro Cafe. Whoopsies. So that is pretty much oh, I can show that on Facebook, YouTube. I'll start putting that comment up there. Um if you're watching on TikTok, you can always join us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Definitely join us on TikTok as well. Return business is always best for sure. Um What's been interesting, this is not related to reviews, but it's been interesting to see our ratio of return customers versus new customers now that we are a brick and mortar store. That number has shot up drastically. I think before we were brick and mortar store, our return customers were probably less than 10%. Now they're between 20 and 30%. Um, that has to do with a lot of different factors, but it's been interesting to see that number go up. And it'll eventually like level out and hit a pretty consistent number, I think, uh, for the most part. But there'll be some peaks, I think. But yeah, I would recommend checking out Jason Perez's video on reviews if you want to dive into that topic more about negative reviews and whether those are helpful to the industry or not. And you can come up with your own opinion. I believe, again, my belief is that you can never be unbiased. So I don't know. I think that negative reviews are fine and they should be out there because I think also like $50 for someone can be a lot of money, and deciding on which game to get and having some kind of opinions to support your decision is important. But I also think that there are different games for different type of people. So one thing that I know I do is I find some content creators that I am more in line with, and I look to them for what games to play. I feel like everybody bashing Monopoly is only hurting the gaming community. You can say if you like Monopoly, you would really like this. Yeah, I don't think we sell a lot of Monopoly because people really enjoy the different IPs that you get from Monopoly. There's the post office worker. I might try to catch them to give them this package I need to send today. So we might end here in just a few minutes, but yeah, I mean, and I always share when someone's looking for a game to play and they know Monopoly, but they don't know a lot of other games. I always talk about some things that other games do that may not be enjoyable to people who have played Monopoly before. Um, so, for example, like player elimination, that's one thing that's not super awesome, I think, as a game mechanic. So, I talk about that in Monopoly. I say, well, this game is different where Monopoly, you might run out of money and you're eliminated. You have to wait for the other players to finish. Well, this game, it ends all at the same time. So everybody finishes playing at the same time. Um, so I kind of share that perspective because I think that helps to uh, it helps people realize there are other ways to end games and other ways to win. Um, but then also there are some Monopoly IP monopolies that are played differently. And I've never played this one, but I've heard the Mario Kart one's actually a lot of fun for people who maybe don't enjoy the original Monopoly. But again, for me, I also have to come at things from a business perspective, and I know Monopoly sells pretty well. So we keep different IPs of Monopoly. Like I keep looking up at our Monopoly. We have Naruto, the Falcon, and Winter Soldier, Sailor Moon, My Hero Academia, Hello Kitty, and Bob's Burgers up there. Those are the ones we have in stock now. Um, Dee says if you're looking for some new games to try or carry in store, check out Talon Strike Studios. Oh, I think I know that studio because it sounds really familiar. Are you associated with them? I wonder. And I don't know where I have heard about them. Ooh, Public Market. Yes, that game. I've seen that game before. Um, are in Night Market. Yeah, Night Market. I lived in Taiwan for 3 years, so I actually really, really wanted to back this game on Kickstarter, but I think it just came at a bad time for me to back, more games. Um, it says it's live now on Kickstarter, but I don't think it is, unless I saw, like yeah, okay. Their website might just need to be updated. Will look into them because I would love to carry Night Market in our store. I have a bias towards, that. I'm not, but they're local to me. So if you want to connect them to me, that will be sure that I don't forget. You can send me an email, but sometimes there's just so many publishers out there; it's easy to forget. Um, and also, it's hard to sometimes choose which publishers to carry in our store. Um, but I like Night Market. All right, we're gonna wrap up because I think the post office woman is finishing up, and I want to see if she'll take this package. I don't know if she will. I might have to drive to the post office before we open. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for chatting, Bowser Game Cafe in DC. We will see you next week, 10:30 Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for joining on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And we're gonna end here.